Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos. It is the Morning Express, and of course, welcome to today's edition of Trends in the Papers, your go-to radio program for insightful newspaper review and also pressing current events. I'm Sage Babalola, basically here to guide you through the headlines that matter the most. This might seem like a distraction, but today America decides. And before we start talking about all of our national issues, it would be advisable to talk briefly about the fate of America today, the 5th of November 2024. And it is significant because whoever wins affects Nigeria's trade, affects our relationship with the United States of America. As we speak, the stock market is already responding to the polls. But then let's get Fuad on board before we open the door to that conversation. Once again, welcome to the program. This is the Morning Express, 5 a.m. to 11 a.m. Different segments, right? And right this very moment is Trends in the Papers. Like I said earlier, we'll be looking through our dailies, looking through the stories that made it to the front pages, having conversations about it, analyzing these stories amongst many other things. But like I said, let's get Fuad on board so that we can kick off conversations. Fuad side plays the role of analyst as always every morning, and then together we look through these stories. We try to put perspective to these stories, and it might seem like a distraction, like I said, but today America is deciding, and we have all eyes on America, where millions of people are going to head to the polls for the much anticipated election between the Republican former president Donald Trump and the Democrat vice president Kamala Harris. And if you listen to Political Roundtable on Sunday, right, it sort of opened my eyes a lot to the reality of American politics, with Barrister Curtis, of course, was here to break down the effect of whoever wins on the entire globe and how it could sort of redefine America's path moving forward. Is America ready for a female president? Has America forgiven Donald Trump? We would soon find out by the end of day. Anyways, we have our dailies, Punch, Guardian, Vanguard, and as always, I'm here to usher you through the stories alongside Fuad Said, who now joins via the phone for analysis. Don't forget that we stream the program live on Facebook and on YouTube. We're currently live. You can find us via the handle at Mainland 98.3 FM. Just join the live stream once you are on our page. You can also listen via Radio Garden. You can either listen via the website or just download the app on your phone. Once you open the Radio Garden app, use the search bar and search for Mainland 98.3 FM. Click play and you're connected to us live. Fuad, good morning. How are you doing today?
Good morning, Sage. I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good. Fuad, I might be hungry, but I'm not from Equatorial Guinea. And I am not related to Equatorial Guinea's financial crime chief. That's one thing I really enjoyed this.
What happened to you? You saw one.
Fuad, you're not going to put me in trouble. You are the FCC to come and carry me. Fuad, see, I'm going through a lot, but like I said, one thing that
I've been seeing Equatorial Guinea everywhere. Their flag, people that don't even know about that.
Fuad.
I am small nation. Yeah.
I am in.
What's going on there? They won a football match.
Fuad, why you behaving like this? Is this why? Let me tell you something.
I don't know.
The internet is awash with videos, really? And it's oh my god. Allegedly, he's been involved in a sexcapade. 400 women. Okay. As it stands, 400 women, yes, and there are about 200 of those videos on social media as we speak. There's an entire list of all the women he has allegedly been involved with, one of which happens to be a pregnant woman, his brother's wife, his daughter's friends, his security man's wife, and wives of his colleagues, all totaling 400 allegedly, and we have at least 200 of those videos on social media as we speak. And I am in utter shock at what is going on. Like, a lot happens behind the scenes. Forward, it's mind-boggling. But then it's not our business. We have bigger issues to deal with.
I came back into the office and so you had to drag me into seeing these videos. And for me, I just felt that there's something wrong somewhere.
It's a mental issue.
So, it's a mental, of course. It needs a lot of therapy, both local and international therapy. And I say local because it needs some flogging, actually. That can help too. With that kind of behavior, it's not just going to be about counseling. It needs some serious flogging. because there's a problem somewhere. And then after that, they can now look at orthodox, medicine to also help. But there's a problem really, and it just goes to show that strange things actually happen, because it's desire for married women actually is what shocks me.
He's married.
Because a lot of them are actually married women. A lot of them are actually married women. Just a few single women, but a lot of them are married, and actually people who are very, very close to him, the wives of people who are very, very close to him, who he relates with, and I is able to target those women, make them so vulnerable, is what I don't understand. The fact that they also are aware that he's actually videotaping them, from the few I saw, actually, it shows that those women were actually aware. It wasn't as if these were secretly planted the cameras. They were aware, they were looking into the cameras, and while they weren't resisting him, maybe some hypnosis too, if you understand what I'm saying. But all in all, it's a very, unfortunate situation. I don't know. It's taking the whole of that country, because again, we are not just talking of ordinary Equatorial Guineans here. We are talking of the high and mighty involved in this scandal. So strange for me and unfortunate.
Well, I don't think he can be arrested for anything because it was consensual. So he can't be arrested for taking advantage of anyone. Unless there was a minor. That's the only thing.
And I don't think there's any minor.
I don't think there's a minor. He can't be arrested. Yeah, he can't be arrested for anything since it was.
I think there's a part that says that if he's found to have a sexually transmitted,
yes, of course, if you deliberately you can be arrested for that. Yes, you can.
Then there can be issues. But for now, he's not really committed any crime, other than the fact that
he's a morally bankrupt individual. Very disgusting.
He's just a madman.
Let's talk about the faith of America today. Very briefly, I know that political roundtable on Sunday, I listened and there was detailed analysis, right? And even the notion that America even the notion that America is not ready for a female president, but Sağᴇ debunked it, and he had facts to back up his line of thoughts that you never can tell. We've seen strong women within the American political space, and we've seen a shift. We now have the female demographic holding a very strong sway in America's politics, so we never can tell if Harris is going to come out the winner of this election. And like I said, the stock market is already reacting. People are ready to take advantage. Yes, people are ready to take advantage of whoever wins would affect people's portfolios in the stock market. But then, like I said, we would wait to see. And many people would say this is not our business, because I went to the Facebook comments and I saw a number of people. I did read the Facebook comments from Political Roundtable to tell you how diligently I followed the program. And there were certain individuals who were saying, this is not our business. We have national issues. It is our business. If Trump wins, for example, immigration laws will change. All of you that have plans to jackpot, you would have a very, very tough time.
They will stay back home.
You would have a very, very tough time leaving the country. So it does concern you. There are people who have international investment. It would affect them. It would affect our relationship, our trade relationship, amongst other things. It would influence the outcome of the current wars that we have going on right now. So it does concern Nigeria, and we should pay some level of attention. I just thought to bring that to the fore. Let's see what happens today. The poll will close today. Early voting commenced a few weeks ago, so the polls will close today, and we'll wait to see who emerges winner of the American election.
By Sağᴇ said on Sunday, and I think we've seen that happen in the past, it could take 4 or 5 days.
Yes.
Before we know the eventual winner. We've seen past presidential elections where winners were announced on election night. I think Donald Trump Clinton, as at the second day or so, the winner was already, decided. But it depends, And also, he also pointed to the fact that, look, there have been in the past where we had a tie in the elections, and then the reps has a role to play. There's a tie. The Senate also has a role to play. There's a tie. But today is the day America will close the polls for the presidential election. I don't know. I don't want to stick out my neck for anything. I'm not going to make any predictions because even the polls in the US have gone crazy with their predictions. Nobody knows anything really.
Right.
Other than the fact that, look, Kamala is doing very, very well with the women voters. The Gen Z women are also coming out. Donald Trump has been trying to target the Gen Z men, young men. And what he said is that they are not really a reliable set of voters. That block of voters are not really reliable. They might not come passionate. Women are also very passionate when it comes to the things that concerns them. So I think the edge for Kamala would be the American women and the people of color, immigrants, Puerto Ricans, and people from across the borders who will be looking at what Trump has been saying about immigration and be just decide to stay in the Democratic Party. But it's too close to call, too close to call, really.
We'll wait and see what happens. Anyways, back to national issues. It still trends in the papers on Mainland 98.3 FM. I'm Sage Babalola. That's Fᴜʟʟ that just spoke. We're live on Facebook and on YouTube at Mainland 98.3 FM. And like I said, to national issues. Fouad, the wife of the president, the first lady, let me address her by that title, and the NSA, Nuhu Ribadu, would lead prayers. Mind you, the prayer is being organized by the National Prayer Forum. Is led by the DG Balogun Afolaroniko, but the wife of the president and the NSA, Nuhu Ribadu, are going to lead the prayers. The Muslims would have theirs 7 days. Christians as well will meet at a center as well. They will have theirs for 7 days as well, interceding for the nation. I'm curious, what would be the prayer points? Take control of the financial market that our policies initially triggered, or touch the mind of bandits so that they repent and release all the people they've kidnapped and return all the ransom monies, or God, please fix our refineries, let your angels touch the refineries and let them. I'm just this is
right, so
I just want to know what the prayer points would be. I'm curious. I just want to know what the prayer points would be. Why are we using religious approach to technical policy issue?
Or human created problem.
I just want to understand. I mean, I'm not against it. I just need I need to understand logic. But it's difficult.
I'm actually against it because it's a complete waste of time. It makes no sense.
The logic.
In the reality of what we are facing, there's no logic. It's just a complete waste of time, really. It's a complete waste of time. And another distraction, really.
God first. God first.
Even God, in all of the religious books, talks about what can pray. Oh, okay. So, like you said, all the billions we've sunk into trying to fix our refinery, so the prayers will make it work. When we are deliberately stealing money, right? So the bandits and the so the bandits, the kidnappers, all the security we have in the north, which are also human created as a result of a law of things we have refused to do, which are the right thing. Prayer will solve the problem. You think prayer will solve that kind of problem?
They can't.
So the vast terrible land we have that we are not doing anything with, prayer would also solve that problem. You think so? Prayer will also help us to produce enough crude oil. Prayers will wake up our factories.
Manna from
right?
heaven. Manna from heaven.
Manna from heaven. Prayers will stop our politicians and the government whenever they get fat from changing it into dollars and messing up our foreign exchange. So prayer will help us fix our nepotism, tribalism. Right? You see, we're just wasting time. And then for the prayer people, what do they call them now? We have a manner of groups. Yeah. Everybody just positions themselves. They create groups for positioning. They call National Prayer Forum. What do they call it?
Yeah, National Prayer Forum.
You see the problem. Have you now seen the problem? What is that forum about?
Prayers.
The so-called National Prayer Forum.
Prayers. National prayers.
To do what now?
To pray for national issues now.
So people don't pray in their homes. You have not prayed this morning, see.
Where 2 or 3 are gathered for it.
All the Sunday prayers are not enough.
We need to join hands together.
Anyways, and the question is, the National Prayer Forum, what qualifies the wife of the president and the NSA to lead that prayer?
I don't know. Maybe
why them?
Maybe their national positioning would make God listen to us more. Yeah. I mean, these are important people calling on me. Let me respond quickly. You never can tell.
You've told me this one that they hardly know so much.
Must you tell people what I said behind the scene?
No.
Must you tell people what I said?
said that they are handing us over to God because they are tired of our wahala. Hello, that 𝐴꿼ᴜ. They want to kill us. Let's hand them over to God. Hey, see,
Well,
it's okay.
you should join the prayer session and intercede on behalf of the nation. There's arrangement for Muslims. There's arrangement for Christians as well. Prayers will happen to help us.
Say, go to anywhere. It's a complete waste of time. No logic in it. Just a complete waste of time. Complete waste of time.
Okay. Let's move to other stories. Punch, that's what we're reviewing this very moment. The top story, hungry minors. President Tinubu orders probe as federal government backs down the rider. Minors arraignment dent on Tinubu's government, says opposition. CSOs demand compensation for detained protesters. Now, President Bola Tinubu on Monday directed the Attorney General of the Federation to ensure the immediate release of the minors detained by the Nigeria police in connection to last August protest without prejudice to any ongoing legal processes. The directive came days after the 76 people, including 30 minors, were charged with treason and inciting a military coup after they were seen waving Russian flags during the End Bad Governance protest against economic hardship. Now, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, announced this to State House correspondents during an emergency briefing at Aso Rock Villa, Abuja. He said, after examining the circumstances surrounding the cases, the President has issued the directive and emphasized the importance of balancing legal processes with humanitarian concern. There's the entire speech, right? But then to summarize what has been said, basically the president has given a directive that all the minors be released unconditionally. That 10 million naira bill is not feasible. It's not very reasonable. But they should all be released. Aside from that, they would be taken care of and returned back to their respective place of origin. Also, an investigation would happen. Any erring police officer that was found to have violated human rights in the process of arresting these minors would also be punished, amongst all of the many things that was said according to the president's directive. Fuad, do you think this action will be able to make up for the 3 months of inconvenience that these minors had to experience in detention?
Better late than never, say, at least. Luckily, the president and his team have now listened to the people, the condemnation, the outrage, the backlash that came from that very, very unfortunate situation. So what comes to mind this morning is that where are the defenders of the universe now? The people that would always defend anything they think is the action of government, whether reasonable or not. Where are those people now? If the people they are defending are suddenly realize that, look, that situation should never have happened. And look at what the president is saying now. Take care of them, feed them, clothe them, return them to their parents. But you have to question the police and the way they do their job. See, very, very unfortunate. The police, because again, yes, this will go, the minors will be released. I'm also hoping that everybody that is standing trial for participating in that protest is also released. That's actually the final point for me. That is not just even about these minors. For everybody that is arrested that is standing trial for coming out to dissent, to express their dissent on the hardship in the land, on the way the government is running the country, should also be released unconditionally. Because again, one of the major ingredients, vital ingredients for a sustainable democracy, is the opportunity that's given to people to be able to ventilate their opinion, whether it is for the government or against the government. So far, they remain civil and peaceful about it. But at the end of the day, there are questions about the workings of the Nigerian policing system. You ask yourself, how do you arrest people? How do you take care of a situation where you arrest children? What are you supposed to do? There are detention centers, what is also happening in jails that has arisen from this particular situation. Because not just about the question is, how did it get to the point that could have happened in the first place? If you understand what I'm saying.
Yes.
But again, the president has done the right thing. But there are also questions as to whether the process will still have to be completed. And that's why I think he has directed the AGF to take over the case and then withdraw the case from court. So how the court will quickly sit so that they can discharge and approve these children so that they can be returned home is what we're waiting for. But while we're discussing this, more children have also been charged to court somewhere in Borno State, Maiduguri, on the same end protest. So I think the AGF has a lot of work to do, because what it now means is that we may have these children detained in different parts of the country.
Right.
So it's important that we now know where more children have been detained, and now we can get them released and returned to their parents.
It's on page 2. We'll wait to see the implementation of this directive by the president, because we've seen cases where the president's directive was blatantly ignored, or new guidelines contrary to the directive of the president was put in place.
Hope we're not going to see the police say, no, we can't release them.
I don't know, because now these agencies seem to be very comfortable flouting the order of the president. So let's hope that the court follows through and the AGF also gets on top of the situation. It's on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. We have on page 19, Tinubu asks new ministers to stay resilient amid criticism and abuse. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on Monday swore in 7 new ministers into his cabinet at the council chamber of the State House Abuja. This followed their confirmation by the Senate on the 31st of October after a screening exercise, and now the new cabinet members have taken the oath of office in batches of 4 and 3 after their citations were read by the State House Director of Information and Public Relations, Mr. Abiodun Oladunjoye. So far, we have 7 new ministers. The question is simple. What is the task ahead for these new cabinet ministers? Will a change of guard lead to a commensurate improvement in the individual ministries that they have been tasked to head?
Well, these are 7 new ministers. I don't know really, because if you listen to the president, I think the president believes that whatever he's doing now is working. In fact, I was already told them, look, they're going to abuse you, don't bother. They're going to insult you, don't bother. We have our heads above the water. We are doing the right thing. You know, posterity will judge you, will be kind to you. But, so you have a president who is so upbeat, who believes so much on whatever he's doing, and he believes those things are the right things to do at this time. So, and I think that's actually the message to the new ministers too. Stay on course. Stay on this trajectory. We are doing the right thing. So I'm sure they're going to carry on with the policy of the government at whatever level they find themselves. And so it's difficult for me to begin to say whether there's going to be anything is going to change with this government and the new minister, because the president is giving them a clear idea of what he expects from them. Follow through with my policies as ministers, and that's what the president is telling them. So his key performance index, the KPI, is what I don't know really. It would be nice to see what the president is actually expecting from each of the ministers.
Right.
But I don't think we have any idea of that really. But at the end of the day, whatever the ministers do, it's going to be a collective performance review of this administration. We are going to review their performance in a collective way. So at the end of the day, congratulations to the new guys who have gotten a new job as ministers. I will see whether it's going to bring any change really. But for me, I'm a bit skeptical really.
Page 19, that's where you find the full report on the front page of the Punch newspaper. We also have on page 21, imported petrol cheaper than Dangote's 990 naira per litre, says marketers. We have the report here that the Petroleum Products Retail Outlets Owner Association of Nigeria says the Dangote Petroleum Refinery is inconsiderate for selling petrol at 990 naira per litre, stressing that the company enjoyed massive concessions while accessing foreign exchange during its construction. Petran also insisted that imported petrol was cheaper than the 990 naira per litre price of Dangote petrol. Major marketers recently revealed that the landing cost of imported petrol as of October 31st, 2024 was 978 naira to a litre. Now on Sunday, Dangote Refinery alleged that Petran and the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria were planning to import substandard petroleum products into the country. And reacting to this statement on Monday, Petran Publicity Secretary Joseph Obili insisted that Petran will sell far less than the current selling rate of PMS in Nigeria when granted their import license by the Nigeria Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority. So forward, we have Petran responding to Dangote. They're saying that with all of the many benefits that Dangote enjoyed whilst he was constructing his refinery, it's quite inconsiderate that he would sell for the price of 990 naira per litre, and once they are granted their own import license, they will sell cheaper, and it would allow for competition. And they have debunked the allegations by Dangote that they are conniving to bring in substandard petroleum products into the country. Fuad, first of all, what are your thoughts on Dangote's pricing template? Because he's doing this based on international market. His template is somewhat reliant on the international market and what goes on there. And Petron is saying that what it should be is cost of production plus a reasonable margin. That should be the determinant of your price, and not what happens in the international market. What do you think?
I understand you starting your question on this matter by talking about this price, dispute between Petron and Dangote refinery. What's supposed to be fair pricing, actually, is what we are discussing here. But before I answer that question, let's start this way. Why did the Nigerian government encourage, give all the necessary support for us to have Dangote refinery? What was the plan? What was the reason behind giving all the support in the world for us to have Dangote refinery?
To take care of our domestic needs and price locally.
Beautiful. To take care of our local, so that we can at least be refining locally.
Yes.
So the idea of importation, what does it do with that plan?
Contradicts the plan, totally ruins it.
So this issue of pricing and competition, best way to address it. If Dangote has started becoming so greedy that look, his pricing is not good, what is the best way really to tackle that idea of Dangote becoming greedy and becoming unreasonable with his pricing?
Fix our own refineries, allow for healthy competition.
So can we use importation to tackle the problem of unfair pricing from Dangote refinery? How reasonable is that idea?
Quite unreasonable.
It's just ridiculous. And so the petrol guys are now saying, okay, we are also waiting for our own licenses. So we are now getting to the point in our oil sector where importation is what we now want to use to be able to compete, to now, create a situation we cannot be talking about fair pricing. So what happens to our desire to be able to refine our products locally? If you understand what I'm saying, so who are these marketers actually? And what is that thing about importation of refined petroleum products into this country? They are talking about when they get their licenses, but there are marketers who are already bringing in the product.
Yeah.
Stage, I tell you authoritatively this morning, myself and a few friends who are also in the media space have been working on something, trying to investigate the entire value chain in the oil sector. Stage, I can tell you that before this so-called food regulation that happened some few weeks ago, some major marketers who were struggling to declare a profit of 100 million naira in a year already doing over 5 billion naira now.
Subsidies
I can tell you that what we now have is a situation where we don't even know what exactly. If the petrol guys are telling us that the landing cost is about
978, yeah.
So what's 978? And the average Nigerian, I think it's only in the NNPCL filling station. See, don't listen to me. It is only in the NNPCL filling station in the urban centers of Lagos and Abuja that you're going to buy petrol at 1,025 naira. For some of the other major marketers, they are selling at what?
1,000.
They are now selling
200.
1,070, 1,080, 1,100. In other parts of the country, 1,200, 1,300.
Yeah.
That entire profit margin, what does it tell you, see? There's a report somewhere. So when Nigerians are growing, these marketers are what? Are selling to the banks. That's number one. Number two, the issue of quality. Can you now see that what Fᴜဃᴜ said before about imported products having better quality than Dangote refinery's product is what these marketers are now repeating. Can you see that there's a collaboration really? It's a collaboration of some sort. The cabals we are talking about are in a collaboration to ensure that the idea of us refining our products locally does not happen. In fact, the collabo I'm seeing is that look, these guys are working hand in hand to kill the Dangote refinery. Did they know when they killed the refinery? Because we continue to encourage the importation of refined petroleum products, we were supposed to be ramping up our capacity by fixing our other refineries, encouraging more investment in refinery building. They were going nowhere, Sage. I'm not speaking for Dangote. I'm not saying it's very fair with his pricing. I also have business in the real estate sector, so I understand how people complain about the issue of cement and other things. But here, we're just being realistic here. We're just being reasonable here. The best way, and I will repeat it again, you cannot use importation to fight local production. What you're saying is to also ensure that other people are able to produce locally. Why have we not been able to fix our 4 refineries? See, in whose interest is our refusal to fix those 4 refineries? In whose interest are we issuing out more licenses for people to import products into the country? So at the end of the day, you can see that look, there's a collaboration, there's a conspiracy of some sort. It's a synergy. That look, so this idea of these importers, what they are saying, where does it leave our desire and our plan to be a net exporter of a petroleum product by the end of 2024? And we choose it.
It's funny because, for example, during the Buhari regime, in order to encourage local production of rice, we shut the borders, right? And then now it's funny that we're opening up importation, allowing for importation as a means to ensure that the market is all inclusive and to fight monopoly. The contradiction is what surprises me. Economies, typically when they try to grow their own economy, they shut themselves in and force local production. But in trying to improve our own economy, we're opening the door for outside influence and infiltration of our local market, and it doesn't make sense to me. Maybe because I'm not an economist.
You don't have to be an economist. You don't have to go to Harvard or London Business School to know that. It's corruption. It's just the corruption of the mind, the brain, and the thinking of these people in the oil sector. You know, you remember that Farouk was telling us about energy security, and in his own mind, the best way to ensure energy security for Nigeria and find monopoly is to open up our borders for all manner of things to be brought into the country. Remember that up to now, that getting fuel they brought into the country, they've not answered any question about it. How we got into bringing that useless fuel that damage people's properties into the country. When they talk about the quality of Dangote's product, and the man took people to his lab, and that's the pertinent question, let them show you their own lab.
Right.
Have they said anything to that?
No.
But look, see, I said that look, we are doing a lot of work really on the ground on this entire oil sector. And do you know that look, they are even putting up propaganda messages. There's one that a friend sent to me where I've been told that some radio stations in the Ibadan have been playing that message, where they are practically demarketing the Dangote refinery and its product. In fact, what they said is that look, if you see anything white, it doesn't mean anything. If you see anyone that is reddish or pinkish, it is done internationally to distinguish petrol from other petroleum products.
That's a lie.
You know, you're not. You see.
That's a
so
lie.
You know that these guys know what they are doing. And it's a collabo. I'm telling you, a collaboration that, if we check very well, has even gotten to the point that you'll be shocked. The people that are involved in these things we are talking about. That's why you see that Dangote is tired. The man is tired.
So,
when the man told you that the cabals in the oil sector are worse than the mafia, the drug cartels, you think he doesn't know what he's saying?
okay. So
they don't own them by neck. Look, when Dangote was going to release his PMAs, why did the NNPC jump into the conversation by being the sole sticker?
well, I don't know.
And then suddenly the prices went up, and now the price is good, the price is not good, and then you are issuing more licenses, and then marketers are not able to bring in the product. And I'm telling you that as these marketers are now planning to the ban, Nigerians are groaning.
Fuad, but do you think 990 is a decent price, especially because he did truly enjoy certain benefits? And just like Petran said, typically it should be cost of production plus margin is how you make your money, and not
they should go and build their own refineries. They should make meat now. They can build their own. Look, the fact is this, Sage, he enjoyed some support,
Yeah.
foreign exchange opportunities to build that refinery.
Yes.
But you are aware that he also had the same opportunity to do what others are doing. We could have gone to Malta. We could have gone to Canada. We could have gone to any other part of the world to do the same thing.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying? That's number one. They supported him to build the refinery. And I also told you that what is even the support that they are talking about? I paid $100 million for the land some years back.
I paid back.
I also had to, and the loan that they gave to me, I had to pay back. I went to different parts of the world looking for funds to repay. And when they were supposed to put $2.7 billion into that investment, they only did $1 billion and put the rest out. So what support are we even talking about? If it's about support, let us to look for that same support and do the refinery here locally.
Right.
And then we can start talking.
Page 21 of the Punch newspaper, you find that report. Is trends in the papers on Mainland 98.3 FM. We're still looking at the Punch newspaper. Thank you to everyone currently on our live stream. You can still join the live stream this very moment at Mainland 98.3 FM on Facebook and on YouTube. Fᴜဃᴜ is here. We're analyzing the stories together, and we recently just spoke about the price of PMS and also the back and forth between Petro and Dangote refinery. Also the complicity of NMDPRA, the issuance of import licenses, amongst other things. The full report is on page 21 of the Punch newspaper. We have here EFCC arrest ex-Delta Governor Okowa for alleged derivation fund fraud. Now, operatives of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission on Monday arrested a former governor of Delta State, Ifeanyi Okowa, over the alleged diversion of 1.3 trillion naira derivation fund. The 1.3 trillion amounted to a 13% derivation fund from the Federation account between 2015 and 2023. Now, according to sources in the commission, Okowa was at the EFCC office at Port Harcourt and was subsequently arrested by officials of the commission. Another source says he's accused of failing to render account of the funds, as well as another 40 billion naira he allegedly claimed he used to acquire shares in UTM floating liquefied natural gas. He also allegedly bought shares of 40 billion naira in one of the major banks in the country, representing 8% equity to float the offshore LNG. The funds were alleged to be used for other purposes, and investigators are still investigating the diversion of funds by the former governor to acquire estate in Abuja, Asaba in Delta State, and he's currently at the EFCC holding facility in Port Harcourt. I just decided to take time out to write all of the assets that he's being alleged to have acquired using the funds that he allegedly diverted. Fouad, we've asked many times that why is it that oil producing states, for example, I beg your pardon, suffer the most, right? The environment is messed up. Oil exploration is making it difficult for them to even drink the water that is available to them because they get derivation funds. Companies that do the oil exploration are mandated to pay a certain cleanup fee, and they still get monies from FAC. So why do they seem like the poorest? Especially because they more or less are linked directly to the nation's ability to generate revenue internally. And we have a situation like this, Fouad.
Sage, a number of my friends are from Delta State, quite a number of them, If they tell you how badly that state has been run from 1999 till date, you shake your head for this country. With the resources, the allocation, everything that comes into that state. Nothing. In fact, what they will tell you is that, look, every time you go to Delta State, there's nothing to show that anything is happening when it comes to governance. Even the capital city is just like that. There's no, there's a way you can see a city evolving, a state evolving. That every time you go to Delta State, it is the same thing. Nothing changes. The roads are looking the same. The streets are looking the same. You can't even say this is a legacy project. Right from the days of Ibori this is a new governor and they're going to 2 years. They're down to Okowa that has now been arrested by the EFCC. Despite the resources that goes into that state, Delta State particularly. And now they are talking about 1.something trillion. Anyways, it's presented himself, he's been detained. I'm sure he's going to have his day in court. But whether we like it or not, the reason why we are not making any meaningful progress in terms of development especially with the Niger Delta region, as well as other parts of the country. It's not corruption. These guys are not tired of stealing. See, these guys are not tired of stealing. Take everything, because you look at the whole thing, you look at the sources that go into this state, and you look at what is on ground, and you know that, it's daylight robbery. Just put it that way. When the police was arrested in the UK, that's even the problem. They said they stole the people's money, and when they came back, they rolled out the drugs for it. It's the problem. So I'm not surprised that, we're getting these revelations now and allegations from the EFCC. But we want to see a diligent prosecution of the case. And we're hoping that it's not going to end up like every other case that has come up against ex-governors. All hot air, all noise, and at the end of the day, they have their day in court, they are granted bail, and we heard nothing again. We're hoping this one will not go that way again.
All right, well, you can find more details on page 19 of the Punch newspaper. We also have here, let me just read through these headlines. Stock market rise as Trump Harris battle for U.S. presidency is on page 12. We have on page 5, unfortunately, it's not unfortunate that he did bag life in prison. Cleric bags life jail for raping minor inside mosque. What's unfortunate is the assault on the minor. Cleric bags life jail for raping minor in mosque is on page 5. And we have on page 3, your PDP defense Makinde says APC scared of Nigerians. There was the whole tussle, I think a few days ago, where Seyi Makinde said that the 2027 election is going to be between the APC and hungry Nigerians. And then
Seyi Makinde is now talking like a nationalist.
Well, that's what the APC said. What?
He said it's going to be between APC and Nigerians. Which Nigerians? Is it part of the Nigerians we are talking about?
For the APC fired.
What will be his role then? What wait now?
Maybe he has presidential ambition is why he's the way he is.
Okay, maybe he has presidential ambition.
That's what the APC said.
And he should talk about the battle between him and the presidential ambition now. Leave Nigerians now, because it's also part of the problem.
He has changed.
So by the time they now hide under Nigeria, as if they are speaking, he should speak for himself and his ambition. Because now he's not making all these statements, he's APC and he's another Nigerian. If he wants to become president, he should come out and tell us. And then we'll now assess his own performance too and see whether he's not also a major part of the problem. I say he's going to run under the PDP. He's going to be a candidate under the PDP. Or which party? If he runs.
Don't be angry. Sorry.
No. You remember that? I think he was doing the end governance protest too. But he also joined the people protesting. He joined the rally.
Yeah, he did.
You see the problem?
He's supporting the people.
The one that is part of to what?
He's supporting the people. We're all in this
by joining them.
Yeah, we're all in this together.
We are all in this together.
Yeah.
The market is also in what we are facing as a people.
He's also
facing
in his place.
He's also facing. It's expensive. How does he buy it? Does he pay from his own money?
I don't know.
See, if the man wants to run for president, he should come out and all this. You know how they start to suddenly it's APC against Nigeria. We know. Don't you know?
It's basically just banter between political parties. It's been and it always will be. If you would like,
he should leave Nigerians out of the banter. He should banter with them on his name and his party. And not begin to speak as if he's speaking for Nigerians.
Okay.
Can't speak for Nigerians. Nigerians will speak for themselves in 2027.
And be arrested and tried for treasonable felony.
They can't be tried for anything. Okay. What I'm saying is that in 2027, when it comes to voting for, they will decide. Nigerians will decide. It's not for people who are part of the fullness to not suddenly begin to align and begin to think you do as if they are also part of the people. The people are the people. They are the ones suffering, and they know what to do in 2027. Not by what any politician is saying.
All right.
Silent positioning. But how want to take that in 2027? We know them, we know what they stand for, and we know who they are.
It's on page 3 of the Punch newspaper. I'm about to move now to the Guardian newspaper. The Guardian reports top headline: World leaders, nations anxious as US decides Harris-Trump's fate, is on page 6. We'll be following very, very keenly the outcome of the election. But if you like to read, page 6 of the Guardian has the full report of what to expect from America's election today. We also have here, Tinubu tells minister to be focused as Edun backs forex subsidy reforms, is on page 3. Owando announces 51% growth in revenue. It's on page 5 of the Guardian newspaper. I was trying to jump over that because I realized.
No. You know.
It's a trigger.
What's the jump in revenue again? The percentage?
51%.
Let's do the calculations.
I mean not. It's on page 5. It's a lot. It's a lot of money. The profit margin is wide. We have here page 6. End bad governance. Legal news tightens on Borno minors despite Tinubu's reprieve. I did mention that it's not just the minors being tried in Abuja. There are also some that have been arrested, detained, and are currently facing the law in Borno State as well. So let's hope the presidential directive also extends to these minors in Borno State. It's on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. EFCC detains Delta ex-governor Okowa for alleged 1.3 trillion naira fraud, is on page 3 as well of the Guardian newspaper. And we have here reps probe NNPCL as protesters lament fuel crisis. So what the House of Representatives Public Accounts Committee PAC yesterday constituted 2 subcommittees to ascertain the state of indebtedness of Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, and others in the oil and gas industry. Some of the issues to be addressed are the outstanding royalties due from NNPC COMF to tallying over $253 trillion. And the probe will begin as protesters yesterday stormed the Nigerian National Petroleum Company towers in Abuja, demanding a probe into the $4 billion allocated for the rehabilitation of the Port Harcourt, Warri, and Kaduna refineries. We had a protest in Abuja. Protesters are asking the NNPCL to give account of how they have spent all the monies allocated for the rehabilitation of the refineries. And so the House of Reps have stepped in and are asking the NNPCL to, well, basically just open their books.
And are you excited about any probe again?
For the opening one time, you know that, right? We had the auditor, the national auditor, open their books, and he did highlight some discrepancies. And up until this very moment, I've not heard anything that happened to those people that were alleged to have manipulated the funds of NNPCL.
And that statement that military made the last time, that, oh, trust me, although don't quote me, the refineries will work in September.
Yeah.
Why did he make that statement? You know, before the House of Reps committee.
Yeah.
Probing this same situation. So now that the thing did not work in September and we are now in November, what have they done to it?
That's it. He said you should not quote him now. What was his own?
and they allowed him to leave that place.
What was his own? He said don't quote me. He was just gisting me.
No. Say, didn't they tell you to prove something, investigate something? And then you call the man in charge of that here. He says that, look, this thing will happen on this same day. I'm not lying to you, but don't quote me. What would you do to that person?
I would say, you say I not quote you, can go.
You go. Or you don't say, come here. Are we joking here? Is this a joke? You never was saying that, oh no, we're not lying to you, this, blah, 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 or don't quote me. I know that it will work. And they allowed him to go.
You know. Yeah, I told you the truth. You people don't like the truth.
They should have done so. They will not themselves up and say, no, at the end of the day, it's not a joke. It's a circus show. Like a Ghanaian will call it. It's a circus show. We are just watching it like a film. Like they are playing drama, playing games, you know. Okay, okay, do we have any update on the refineries again?
None.
Do you have any update?
No, none. Currently, none.
And that's why it's making me to believe that it might just be mere illusion that we have refineries. We might actually be daydreaming about owning refineries. Maybe we don't even have refineries in reality.
But we have to go. We're out of time, all right? Well,
Oh.
finally here, average truck driver loses 200,000 naira daily due to gridlock and inefficiencies at Apapa Port is on page 7. I'm very interested in this topic, and hopefully maybe in the situation room, I would open this conversation. Maybe have somebody from
Yeah, Papa
custom.
problem.
Yeah,
Every
to
effort,
talk about this.
every effort to bring sanity back to that part of Lagos has failed. There was a time the president, Buhari, even the vice president led the team. There was a time they did a presidential committee. There was a time governors after governors have made efforts. No way, no sanity back to Apapa. Unbelievable.
We'll discuss it soon enough. Well, that's everything we have for you. Thank you very much as always. I will have you back in about 10 minutes for Mainland Focus. I'm Sage Babalola. Thank you for your participation. I see your messages on the live stream. I'll read them when we come back for Mainland Focus. We have commercials. The conversation continues. It's the Morning Express, Mainland 98.3 FM. We'll be right back.
Sweet like milk, sweet.